Hello and welcome to Policy Bazaar. I'm Arjun Bhagat. Now, most of us acknowledge the significance of having a life insurance policy to cover the risk of death and health insurance policy to take care of our medical and hospitalization expenses. However, not many of us pay heed to the importance of opting for a personal accident cover, perhaps because our existing insurance plans already cover accident risks. So is our life cover with an accident rider as comprehensive as a standalone personal accident? Pay enough attention to the provision for an unexpected accident that could affect us physically as well as financially and also the families. Now, to discuss this important topic, we have Yashish Dhaya with us, CEO and co-founder of Policy Bazaar, and Milan Nayak, country head, marketing and institutional sales, Liberty Videocon General Insurance. Welcome to the show, Yashish. Welcome to the show, Milan. You know, this is a very important topic. It affects so many families, you know, personal accidents. What is your take on it, and what is the definition of a personal accident insurance, given that there's so many terms that we deal with?
So personal accident is exactly what it says. It's a personal accident. So it's a person who has an accident. That accident can be of any sort. It could be a road accident. It could be an accident by traveling in a train or a plane, or just walking. You fall down, you slip. It could be an accident while playing a game. Somebody could lose, somebody could be disabled for a short period. Somebody could be disabled permanently. Somebody could lose their eyesight. Somebody could lose some hearing. Somebody could lose their ability to speak. Somebody could lose a limb.
But a lot of people get confused between the health insurance part and the personal accident insurance.
I think personal accident has the ability to destroy lives. And I say this with a bit of conviction and experience, at least as far as a country like India is concerned, where there is very little social security. So for a person to progress, and what has to remember that personal accidents happen mostly if you take on average statistically, to younger people. These people probably have no insurance cover whatsoever. So they usually don't even have life cover. Some of them don't even take health cover. But this is, so bike riders are almost by definition likely to have the most number of personal accidents. And if they don't have a personal accident cover, and I see it in our own office, that most of the accidents that happen are people who were going on a bike, fell down, something happened, fracture or damage or whatever happened. And I think in all those situations, the personal accident cover provides the cover, so it's most essential.
Right.
I think that's how I look at it.
Right. Milan, you know, you have an industry kind of a perspective of personal accident insurance. Now, how do you look at it? Because this is a critical area, but it's not something which is very popular with people taking up personal accident insurance covers, is it?
Sure. So I think let me put it in perspective, right? So globally, if you really see about annually almost 1.24 million people die due to accidents, and 50 million get injured. So this is the global statistics. Now, if you see it, I mean, just the statistics stand alone, right? It equates to almost 18 aircrafts with 200 passengers per aircraft dying on a daily basis, right? So that's the magnitude at which personal accidents do happen and deaths do occur, right? Now, put it in the Indian context, there is an accident almost every 90 seconds.
Every 90 seconds?
Sorry.
My God.
Every 90 seconds. So if you see it from a statistical standpoint, you know, the situation is quite alarming. But if you see it in terms of, you know, what's been the penetration of a personal accident product, I mean, like Yashi just mentioned, the relevance of it and the coverage that it offers. But if you really see the penetration, it's negligible, right? So there is no credible data available, but my guess would be it'd be sub 2%. So if that be the situation.
So is it because awareness levels are low, or we just don't care?
I think it's a combination of all of that, right? So a couple of things. One is, of course, you know, in India, insurance is sold and not bought. So very rarely people are educated or aware of the fact that where they are vulnerable, where the real issue lies, and do they know what the products that are available. So for basic level education at the consumer levels are very low, right? So given that itself, they do not necessarily always opt for a insurance product, leave aside just personal accident alone. Coupled with that is also in terms of distribution as such.
Right.
So far on products like personal accident have not evolved. So yeah, so that's a couple of reasons why the penetration levels have not grown significantly.
Right.
Yet.
So let's talk about the product itself, Yashish. How is it structured, and how do you distinguish between, say, a term plan which has a rider of a personal accident? I mean, and would you recommend it as a standalone product or as a rider?
First of all, just to kind of clarify, I would recommend personal accident to those people also whom I would not even recommend term insurance to.
Right.
I specifically mentioned those people who are not yet married, who may not have any liability, but if a personal accident happens, they might have themselves to take care of. And I think personal accidents are, first of all, when they say, what should the youngest people buy? Anybody who started college, anybody who started driving, anybody who's out there, the first product they should actually buy is personal accident, along with health cover, etc. Now, what does it cover? In case any accident happens, all of these products are something called a sum assured. That sum assured might be 1 lakh, it might be 10 lakh, it might be 1 crore, whatever that cover is. Now, that cover is the amount that would be provided to the nominee or the next relative or whoever in case of a death. However, these products are not just meant to cover death. In addition to death, they have disability covers. Now, there are different kinds of disabilities. There is total disability and there is partial disability. Now, this is all going to sound very nasty, but if I was to lose both my hands, I would be considered permanently and totally disabled. If I was to lose one hand, I would be considered partially disabled, but permanently disabled. But if I have a fracture, I am temporarily disabled, right? So there are all kinds of these events that can happen. In each of these events, we get financial support. So if I have a fracture, which means that for 3 months I cannot be at work and my employee doesn't want to pay for that, then the personal accident cover with that particular rider can potentially take care of some costs associated with that loss of income that I would have. So there can be a loss of income built in. So there is the basic construct of a personal accident product. More importantly, these products are not so expensive. So something like a 10 lakh rupee cover would not even cost 100 rupees a month. Less than 100 rupees definitely. So for young people who are on the bikes, and India has a huge young population, I think taking out a cover of that sort, first of all, initiates them into insurance, and secondly, it's just a great cover to have. After that, once you're married, of course, you have to have the term cover, and because you've got genuine dependents. But the disability part does need to be taken care of, and it usually is not.
Right, Milan, at the cost of sounding a little repetitive,
Sure.
Let's go over the benefits of personal accident cover that you take, and how easy is it to get the claims? Because that's a question that we get people writing to us and saying,
Right.
the company is not giving us the claims back and we're having such and such problems. So, I mean, how would you look at it?
Yeah, so let's talk about the benefit to start with. I think she's more or less sort of give you the sum and substance of what the product really covers. But if you really go to think about it, if you put it, saying, for example, an accident were to occur, so what are the possible outcomes, right? So it could be a death, there could be a permanent disability, right? It could be permanent partial disability or total disability. There could be a partial disability itself, which is basically a temporary, it could be a fracture of kinds. Now, if all of these events were to happen, how do you ensure that there is some sort of sufficient coverage offered, right? So this is where personal accident steps in. Now, interestingly, with innovation, with times, as the industry has matured, companies have also looked at creating other value-added products around personal accident. For example, if one is, of course, there's a loss of income. If there's a death, there's clearly a financial support required for the family. But if you were to survive, then there is again some lump sum money coming for you, for your benefit, for your treatment, and so on and so forth. They've also added value-added features like education allowance, right? So, for example, a certain amount is paid.
So do you have to ask
education.
for that? Does the person ask for that, or that comes with the package that you buy?
Right. So there are multiple products. So these are products created by insurance companies, and many of them are actually, so you can't customize them to your individual needs. But of course, they're available off the shelf, and some of these, of course, you can opt in for. So education allowance. Then you have things like funeral, for funeral procedure or ceremony, there is some sort of a lump sum given. So there are various other riders that comes along with it, which in a way comes into being when you
the
need the support.
financial impact
Exactly.
that it may have.
Exactly.
Right. So Yashish, let's go into some of the plans which are available in the market. And how are they structured? And also, you talked about the costs. Give us that perspective again.
Yeah. So I think, Arjun, just before I kind of do that, one of the questions you've repeatedly asked is, why is this product not popular? Remember, this product is about 1,000 rupees.
Because to me, it seems that, it should be there. Maybe it should be a compulsory, package.
It's a 1,000 rupee product. Distributor may make 100 rupees on it, may make 200 rupees on it. At that cost, nobody's going to come and explain this product to you in a personal way and say, hey, Arjun, this is a great product for you, because it won't justify that person's effort. See, 200 rupees, when a person comes to the call center today, in a day he earns 1,000 rupees, right? So that means he has to sell this product to 5 people in a day for it to be worth his time to do that. It's not going to happen. And so the physical distribution is going to find it extremely difficult to do that. Now, the way for this product to actually be taken up is for education to happen, and then for people to get up and say, hey, this product makes sense to me, and just go and buy it. The best part about this product is there is no underwriting.
Yeah.
So you can be 90 years old, or you can be 18 years old, and you pay the same price, and the product
that's a very interesting feature.
You just pay, and the policy is yours. There is no underwriting, period. So there is no excuse that the customer has. This is the most convenient product. Because it's an accident, you can't predict an accident.
But it's not being pushed, as you said.
There's no need to push. Like, the distribution has no need to push this product.
Right.
Because at 100 rupees, even if you call me home to pick up a check, I will not come. Right? It's that simple. Now, what are the products available? There's a whole range of products available out there. So, Bharti XR, Alliance, HDFC, Star, Videocon, 3 products from Videocon. And for a 10 lakh cover, you have products ranging from about 700 rupees to 1600 rupees. And of course, that depends on what riders come along, etc. This is for per annum. So on a per month basis, as I said, the 700 rupee product is 60 rupees per month, 2 rupees per day. It's not that big a deal. The point is, somebody says, think about it and kind of take it.
Right. Milind, what are the other advantages of taking personal? You mentioned about international coverage as far as personal accident insurance is concerned.
Right. So like you have, of course, domestic coverage for all of these accidents that were to happen, any outcome of the accident, you are covered domestically. But the beauty of personal accident, despite the relatively cheap cost, it also offers you international coverage. And the other part is that, of course, it's pre-underwritten. So the only big element that from a insurance company perspective, what's important to understand is probably your income level and the occupancy that you are in. I mean, these are the 2 big factors.
Define for me occupancy level.
So, for example, a person working on the shop floor in a chemical factory to a person working like yourselves in a studio, it's invariably in a more safer environment. So the risk parameters are completely different, and basis that defines the pricing on the product. But despite all of that, I mean, I think from a personal insurance perspective, insurances, which is across life and non-life, personal accidents, that turns out to be the cheapest of the line.
So a critical component of one's portfolio in terms of your life portfolio in that sense.
Especially for the young. Especially for the young. Again and again repeat this, because whatever accidents I have seen, a bulk of them tend to be the younger lot. Because when you are younger, you don't have the experience, you are a little more aggressive, you play sports. There are very few 50-year-olds who go, about playing very aggressive sports. So in all those situations, accidents do happen. Just look around. If you kind of do a survey of how many people are wearing plasters, you would come to a conclusion. A lot of young people would be part of that. So it's specifically a cover where the young people should take it, because otherwise they just bear the cost.
I guess the irony is that the young people are the most underinsured as far as our country is concerned.
I think the irony in this particular product is that nobody, besides maybe a few people like us who have an interest in people kind of getting up and buying insurance on their own, nobody's going to come to you and sell this product to you.
Right.
So actually it's a favor happening to the consumers that
So there you go. There you go. So you need to look at this cover very, very seriously. But now it's time to take your questions. And we've got Ajay. He's 30 years old, and he says, I work as a senior engineer in an automotive plant. My colleagues have advised me to take a personal accident cover so that it can help my family if something wrong happens to me. I've tried to read about it, but I want to understand how this policy will help me. Of course, we've done this entire show for you, Ajay, but the take-home points. Milan.
So I think, like Ashish mentioned, for the younger people, it's a prerequisite. With Ajay working in a manufacturing outfit, I think he may be exposed to some sort of hazardous situation, and hence having that coverage is always great. What it also helps you is that at that young age, probably you don't have created enough corpus to take care of any big, large event. So what one needs to do is have that corpus at a relatively cheaper cost, so that God forbid if an event were to happen, you at least have something to fall back on. If not you, at least your family.
Right. And what if he's already covered as far as a group insurance personal accident cover is concerned? Does he still go in for a, Yashish, does he still go in for a individual one?
I think the group insurance cover is also good, and as is the individual ones. But see, most of the group insurance covers will be quite limited. So it depends on what the company has bought. So do they really have income support? So the group insurance cover is fundamentally, I've taken it for the entire group. It would be quite a limited cover, just like the group health covers. So the group covers are usually quite limited, and having your own cover is always beneficial.
Right. We've got Neeraj Tripathi. He's 47 years old, and he's a businessman. And he says he has to travel a lot from one city to another. And he says, I plan to take in personal accident cover for myself, but due to my age, I think the premiums will be too high. Please suggest if I should opt for such a policy. Milan.
So, like I mentioned, I think in the case of a personal accident, age is not a big criteria. Like I said, the occupation that person is, that's of relevance, and the income. So I don't think he should have too much of trouble getting the product. But given the fact that he has a lot of intercity travel and probably spends a large part of the time on the road, and given the statistics and the alarming rate of accidents in India, I think it's a prerequisite for him.
Right. We've got Saurabh from Noida. He says, I'm working as a sales executive in an MNC. Currently, I'm covered for accidental insurance by my employer. I want to know if I should take... well, we've covered this particular aspect, but a lot of people seem to be asking the same question.
I think the simple thing is just find out what your company covers.
Yeah.
And you will see that this cover is so low cost that it actually doesn't matter if you take an additional cover of your own as well.
And you'd mentioned 100 rupees a month for a cover of about 10 lakhs.
60 rupees a month, less than 60 rupees a month, 57 rupees a month, less than 2 rupees a day for a cover of up to 10 lakh rupees. So if an accident doesn't happen, great. Just let that 2 rupee go every day. And if an accident does happen, then there's a 10 lakh rupee cover straight away. Right. And when you look at young deaths or young disabilities, a lot of it is about accidents. Where there are not many young people who fall sick and kind of get disabled.
Yeah.
Right. We've got Githika, and she says, I'm a single mother. I have a health insurance policy. Last year, I bought a term insurance plan as well. I would like to know about the difference between the two covers and also about personal accident cover. Would my personal health plan cover disability? Milan.
Right. So in case of a term plan and a personal accident, the term plan largely looks at death, natural death. So the death element to an extent gets taken care of, despite it being through a personal accident. But what typically a term plan does not cover is permanent total disability, partial disability, temporary disabilities, and the other benefits I talked about earlier. So I think even if you have a term plan, like for example, myself, I have a term plan largely to take care of any uncertainty were to happen, and largely take care of my home loans or mortgages or whatever it is. So the family burden is taken care of. That apart, I've taken a personal accident because, like I said, there are other areas that don't get necessarily covered by a term plan, and hence I think it's a requirement that kind of sits in. So I think it's both sit together, and both are a good requirement to really have.
Thanks, Yashish. Thanks, Milan. That's all the time that we have on this show. So for the weekly quiz question that we asked earlier, does home insurance impact tax saving? The correct answer is no. And congratulations to Suman Kumar. You won a gift voucher of 1,000 rupees. And it's now time for you to take a weekly quiz and answer this very simple question and win some exciting rewards. The question is, tax exemptions on premium paid towards health insurance plan falls under what section of the Income Tax Act? Well, that's all the time that we have, but you can tweet us at Twitter at policybazaar_in. You can email us at queries@policybazaar.com. And goodbye. We'll see you again with another episode of Policy Bazaar.